Hey guys, happy to be here for this week's Oxen Labs update. Recording from my computer today, and I think Josh will be as well. We've been working on basically the session releases for menu redesign. There's a settings redesign. There's a bit of an onboarding change, specifically when you're adding new contacts, and there's also the theming stuff that's coming through for mobile. So we're closing in on a release for that. We were hoping to have it out this week actually, but we put out a few pre-release binaries to some power users. And we've gotten a little bit of feedback from them, which has brought up a few slight issues that we're hoping to fix over the next couple of days. But yeah, should be very soon before we get a release out with theming and those onboarding and menu redesigns that I was speaking about. That's basically what we've been doing on the session side. On the Lokinet side, we have a set of binaries right now, or a set of binaries paired with the GUI, which is actually in testing internally now. So I think on Tuesday we ran through, it was actually Monday, we ran through with most of the team. This was mostly Windows and Mac users actually, running the whole experience. So installing Lokinet, connecting to an exit node, searching up all the .loki side. We ran through all of that, and the good news was that I think it was like 8 or 9 or 9 out of 10 people were able to finish the task successfully. So that was really good. But there were a few things, particularly with the Mac installer, that we wanted to not necessarily polish up, but provide a bit more documentation for, because there are some cases in Mac where particularly the network extensions stuff won't show up properly. So we need to make it aware to the user that how to navigate those menus. And that isn't necessarily up to us. It's something that Apple presents to the user. So we just need to make it aware, make the users aware that this is how it works. So we're working on that stuff, but everything's looking really good, and we're adding a few visual indicators to the GUI as well, a few different colors to differentiate the different types of whether Lokinet is on or whether Lokinet is on with an exit. So that's Lokinet. On core, we're basically working on this batching issue that's come up with a few service nodes out in the wild that we've had reported to us, which is essentially that their batching state kind of becomes invalid. We've identified the issue, and we're fixing it up now, but it's only affected a few service nodes so far. But we should get not a mandatory service node upgrade, but we should have a release out there for people to upgrade to in case they're running into this, or just as a precaution if they maybe were to run into this at a later point. So yeah, I think that just about wraps us up for each distinct project, and keep your eyes out for some session releases hopefully next week, but we'll see how it all pans out with the bugs that we're responding to. Anyway, thanks guys.
Hey guys, welcome back to another marketing update. So, last week required a whole bunch of fluidity from the team. Basically in response to the huge surge that we got of Iranian users over the last couple of weeks, there was a lot of us having to be fluid and having to react to situations. Honestly, it was a crazy week. It involved a lot of translations, quickly getting translations done for articles, for blogs, for onboarding documents and materials. We also created a whole bunch of new content for Farsi speakers, so that the app could be easier for them to understand and for them to use. We got through it, but it was tough considering none of us here are actually native Persian speakers. And on top of that, the connections that we previously built up with other Persian communities were stretched completely thin with all the events unfolding on the ground over there. So their capacity was tight. So we had to go and find a whole bunch of other people to translate for us, which we managed to do. We also managed to find a correspondent here in our time zone that we could use to check over a lot of the translations that we were doing. So that was really good, because none of us here can speak Persian. Still, we also quickly shot up an updates channel too, to go into the into the app, something so it's just a one-way channel so that Persian speakers could get updates on what was going on through the ground, in case the news was blocked from their end. So we put that channel up, we put it up on Session for them to easily see it, and we also implemented a system into the app which would detect in our open groups if any Farsi were to be written in there, and then direct them to the right places, the relevant places for them. And this was great because it drastically cut down the moderation effort required by the mods in our open groups, and it also just gets people more to the places that they want to go, because it makes a better session experience for everyone. So I'm actually really, really proud of the way that the team handled themselves over this little period. It was tough for everyone, but I think the way that the team handled themselves and the steps that the company took to overcome this period and capitalize made my heart very warm. So other stuff we did was we also did a lot of research into upping the censorship resistance in Session from within the actual app. So that's still an ongoing process, but no doubt Session's going to come out being stronger and more robust than ever before. And on top of that, we also, besides all of the Iranian stuff, before I get to the other stuff, actually, one of the other aspects of it was in just the last couple months, we've had over 700% growth compared to the previous month. So it was a real crazy surge, and yeah, it's been an exciting time all around here in the Session and Oxen and Lokinet headquarters. But we also besides that, we worked on the Session tapes, the new podcast. We did made a whole bunch of content cutting that down into all of these short form videos so that we can push out on our other social channels. And we also did work building out Lokinet's new support center that we're going to have up, similar to Session and similar to the Oxen one, centered through help Zendesk to try and give more support. So crazy week for us here, but that's what you got to do when you're making privacy preserving tools that can help the world. So I guess I'll see you guys next time with another update, and you stay classy.